Hello everyone, I am Caboose1475, and today I'd like to talk about something a little bit different in terms of what to talk about. Usually people talk about strategies, or how to do this, or how to do that, but today I'd like to talk about something kind of funny. It might tickle your fancy a little bit, but today I'd like to talk about body shots and headshots, and it's kind of making me laugh a little bit to think about it already. When should you body shot and when should you headshot? You go for that big rectangle, that big square at the center, the big old center of mass. That beautiful, easy shot that you probably won't miss. Or do you go for the tiny grape at the top? The reason why I decided to talk about this is because usually whenever people play the sniper perks or characters, Widow, or like they use the scout in the CS, you ever notice how they keep on missing their shots and they never get the kill that matters, or they never deal any sort of damage that would help another player? That's kind of why I wanted to make this video, because I thought about it. I was like, thinking to myself, you know how much more useful it would be if the player with the sniper rifle or whatever gun that they're using, if they just shot for the center of mass, even just for a little bit of damage, do you know how much better that would be than if they missed the shot completely and left themselves vulnerable? Part of me thinks the reason why a lot of players go only for headshots, or mostly all their shots for the head, is because they see the pros do it. And they're like, well, if the pros do it all the time, then maybe I should. But they don't realize that you got to start from the bottom and work your way up to the top. You have to do it slow, and you have to do it steady. You can't go rushing into things. If you're not really good at aiming at the head, maybe you need to work your way up. Maybe you need to aim for the center of mass, the chest, first, to build that muscle memory. That way you could be a little bit more precise, and then work your way up. You know, you don't always have to go for headshots. You would rather go for consistency over, okay, maybe you can one-shot the person, but if you can't land your shots, then you're not one-shotting the person. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you should always go for body shots, but it kind of just depends on the situation. Would you rather go for the easier shot that'll do less damage, but your shots will be more consistent? Or do you want to go for that risk factor and go for that little tiny target? Maybe have the chance to instantly kill them? Hell, sometimes it could even come down to where the person is on the map. You know? Say if you're pushing out A long doors on Dust 2, and there's a CT playing in pit, and the only thing that's sticking out is his head. You got no other choice but to shoot him in the head. That's a situation where a headshot is a priority, because that's the only thing that's sticking out. The little bloody bit that you can shoot. I really want to use Overwatch as an example, because the movement in that game is very sporadic. That game is really fast in terms of movement. The objectives, everything about that game is really fast, and I wanted to talk about the aiming and the movement in that game. It may not be perfect, but it's kind of a good idea of what I'm trying to get at. Here's a clip from FX Stream. Here's example number 1. Look at how sporadic this player's movement is when I slow it down. I'll slow the clip down first, and then afterwards I'll speed it up just for you to get an idea of how fast and sporadically this other tracer that effective shooting is moving. Let's just say you're up against this tracer. That's a really hard target to hit. Let's admit it. Effect, it's not so hard for him because he trains every day. But let's just say you're the average player and your muscle memory isn't as built as his. That's a pretty hard target to hit, especially the head. You can see the head moving up and down constantly. It's safer for you to aim for the center of mass, the biggest target that you can spot on the model, on your enemy and just shoot it, because it's a lot safer and you're more guaranteed a kill than, say, if you aimed for the head that's constantly moving around and you can't really get a clear shot on it. Imagine if you were a Widowmaker trying to shoot that in the head. All you were trying to go for is headshots. You're probably not going to land that unless you practice headshots absolutely every day. Every hour, every day, you're probably not going to land that. I'm not saying that you're not going to land that in general, but it's better to be safe than sorry. But wait, I can hear you. When do you go for headshots? It's kind of simple, but then again, it's not. Each individual player is different, and each individual player has their strengths and their weaknesses. One will be better at headshotting, others won't. So it entirely depends on the player if they know that they are going to be able to score the headshot. But if you really want a base guideline on when to headshot, whenever the player is moving predictably, when you know they're not going to strafe to the other side because they're going out a door maybe and they haven't seen you yet, that would be a good time to go for a headshot. Or if a player, they're stunned, that would be a good time to go for a headshot. It's kind of up to the individual to make the decision to go for a headshot, but it's a lot easier to build up that consistency going for body shots and then use that consistency to try to help you land more headshots, is what I'm trying to say. That's the moral of this video. From step 1 to step 2. That's my message. That is what I'm trying to get across to everybody. Try not to go to stage 2 yet, because you might not be ready for it. Maybe it's better for you to start at stage 1. Pace yourself. There's no reason for you to try to go for shots that you may not be able to land yet. It's okay. People are new. I mean, even if you've been playing games for a longer time than other players and you just change your sensitivity, maybe you should try to go for easier shots to help build up that muscle memory, and then you could try to step it up a week later or 2 weeks later, or whatever is comfortable to you. It is down to the individual to make that decision, regardless of my saying or anyone else's saying at the matter. You play at your pace and you do what you want. That's what's most important. I hope you enjoyed me rambling for 6 minutes straight. If you did, maybe you could leave a like, or you could leave a comment, leave some constructive criticism for me so I can improve my content for the future. This is Caboose1475 signing off, and I wish everybody a good morning, a good afternoon, and a good night.